Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg is Simon to throw first. Game on.
Here's the man that Whitlock beat to claim his Euro Tour title. It's Paul Nicholson.
It's fascinating, isn't it? What has transpired here in Prague and how the seeds have gradually fallen one by one, and we're down to just the one. Quite incredible considering the quality of the seedings this week. And he's the last one standing.
It is, as we have said before, a huge opportunity this weekend. It has turned into a huge opportunity for somebody to claim the title. We are guaranteed a new winner on the Euro Tour for this year. We are potentially going to have a brand new winner on the European Tour full stop.
60.
And we could well have a first-time winner of a senior PDC ranking event. That's if Jamie Hughes does go all the way, and that would put him into the world match play as well.
100.
Well, out of the guys that have played and succeeded this evening, maybe Jamie Hughes looked the freshest. Now, Keegan Brown was very, very impressive. But he was perspiring a little bit, and we don't blame him for that. But he probably played before the temperature started to drop. It has dropped almost 10 degrees now, so it's getting a little bit better. But it's still raging up there. Bunting looked better this evening than he did this afternoon. Joseph just looked the freshest. Well, speaking of Whitlock, just before this match started, he was up for it. Double 16.
79.
Bit of a miss there.
A little bit too up for that double 16. Merv will leave the double 16 as well. He loves double 16.
51.
But it doesn't help him out on this occasion.
24.
Two 12s then. He has been rather good on his doubles as Simon this week.
Well, rather good is an understatement. Because coming into this, he's been hitting more than half, closer to 60% of his doubles.
100.
If Whitlock continues to finish in this manner, then well, he could easily go and win this title. It would be his first Euro Tour for nearly 7 years. It would be his first title of any sort for a couple of years.
57.
But he was threatening at the back end of last year. We saw him make the final in Riesa. We saw him have a run. Oh, look at this.
Well, Simon Whitlock has already avenged that final loss to Getty this afternoon. So can he take it even further?
Yeah, Copenhagen, the other one, of course, when he was beaten by Mensur Suljovic.
I think if it was up to the decibels of the crowd as to who's going to win this title, I think it would have to go to Simon.
You know what? It's perhaps a testament to Whitlock. It was always been one of the most popular players. In the early years of the European Tour, he would always have immense support wherever he went, the German fans in particular. But even though he perhaps hasn't been right at the top of his game over the last few years, we've come to Prague for the first time, and the Czech fans absolutely adore him. He has that legacy. He's still a big name, a face.
Well, you can't really mistake him for anybody else, that's for sure.
That is true.
I've been with him in airports. He has to have a lounge pass because he can't walk the aisles without being mobbed. It's not like Mark Webster who gets asked for an autograph, Mr. Wade. Hates that.
Bullseye for Merv.
91.
He'll hate that. Some way off.
Simon needs 520s. Decided to stay on the 60 sensibly, and he only just wires out on that double 10. That was a beautiful lie. It's really hard to tell whether he's going to go for two tops, but we know that Merv's got double 8 left. And more misses. Is that a sign that the king is starting to tire? Well, if that doesn't get your juices flowing, nothing will. And you've got all these people behind you. Big deflection. And a bust.
No score. Mervyn, you require 8.
The King, huge chance to get on the board here.
Simon, you require 20.
Take 2, Simon. Got plenty of practice at 10s. That's as close as you can get without bouncing out of the wire.
10.
This is just one of those legs. You get them now and again where someone is going to, in Aussie speak, someone's going to jag it.
2.
Well, Merv didn't even look like he was convinced he could hit that. He just stood there and flicked it in, hopefully. But Whitlock, surely somebody has to win this leg.
No score. Mervyn, you require 2.
Pub leg stuff.
Better to do this at the start of the match as opposed to when it's 5-5, something like that. They're just confirming what he's got left.
No score.
I don't think I've ever seen Mervyn King have a leg like this in his career.
I'm just astonished that he had to clarify what he had left. I mean, he knows he was down to the madhouse. I think the thing with Merv is there'd been so many visits, they had to go back to the top of the board. You may not hear a louder celebration for a 25-darter all year.
I've seen people more than once today and yesterday and on Friday ping 2 legs in that amount of darts. And it would be typical to get to 180 after all of that.
Well, Whitlock has had the wood over Merv their last few times of meeting, including in that run to the final in Copenhagen last year where he beat him in the quarterfinals. But that was a 4th consecutive win for Whitlock over the King.
I think Merv is really struggling.
I thought this before this weekend, and then he's come back. He looked to be struggling against Corey Cadby early stages, but somehow managed to put something together. Went 2-0 down to James Wade and looked troubled, but then came roaring back. Steve West, he was in all sorts of bother, and then produced 3 of the best legs we've seen in this tournament, including a 10-darter with a bounce out.
51.
Well, just to give you an idea of what some of the players have been doing, Keegan Brown, in the break between sessions, I caught him with a towel around his neck that was filled with ice cubes.
Well, it was the calling card for the Wizards for so long, the 170 checkouts.
Funny enough, I haven't seen him hit one for a while.
Right, he doesn't hit them as often as he used to, that's for sure.
138.
Old school way. Double 12. Oh, ridiculous! He couldn't hit a double on the last leg, and then he pings a 138. The Delaware.
Absolutely nonsensical stuff. But Mervyn, having missed 13 darts at double, pins the 138 for a 12-darter, and a leg finished in less than half the time it took for the previous one.
There are times when I would pay good money to hear the thoughts of the King.
I believe, now my check is not very good, but I believe that said, Simon, my beard is prettier. Now, you can make your own decisions about that. They're both lovely beards. They're both good beards.
Is it wise to have a beard in this heat? I'm not so sure. But that beard is seasoned. I'm not talking about salt and pepper.
Simon Whitlock, very much a man who's found a look and decided that that's the one for him and does not need changing ever.
95.
Good on him. It's turned him into an icon of this game. That's why they're chanting his name. That and the fact he's a former European champion and world finalist. 3-time European Championship finalist, of course.
I'll tell you what, I think there is a consensus that maybe when his career's over, he may actually auction off his ponytail.
86.
It'll fetch a few quid.
I mean, would you want it?
Oh, people would want it. The beard, probably not so much.
Oh, I don't know. It's a strange old place, the world, isn't it? The Wizard wants a 180 here. Oh, it's unlucky.
135.
Tell you what, the older Simon Whitlock gets, and the longer that beard gets, the more he looks like one of the soggy bottom boys from Oh Brother Where Art Thou. You ever seen that movie?
Coen Brothers one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
there we go.
fabulous film.
85.
Oh, you can make the call on that. I'm sticking with Whitlock's. Double 14. Using the little half step to try and make use of that dart. You've got a perfect view of it.
Simon Whitlock is not a man of constant sorrow. He's a man who's 3-1 up. Fabulous use of that guide on the 14s. And he looks full of beans.
140.
Well, coming into this, he was averaging 95 for the tournament. Now, he's nowhere near that, but they've had that silly leg has dragged both their averages right down into the mid to low 80s. So forget about the averages, really. But Whitlock has been playing at a consistent level. One poor leg does not ruin his... Oh, dear. Well, he won't like that, Whitlock.
Well, the first 9, they're all right, aren't they?
They're okay.
But the overalls have obviously been dragged down by that leg that we had earlier in the match. But sometimes we have to just get rid of those stats and look and see who's better in the moment. And
well, that's it. I mean, you only have to look at Stephen Bunting, who's averaged lower than his opponent every round so far in this tournament. But when the big moments have come, the bullet has stepped up.
Merv's playing a little bit quicker now. Just trying to play natural, I think. Try not to be too deliberate. Because this is hard work now for him.
46.
It's hard work for both of them. This is what you call darting graft.
60. Simon Urukai, 108.
Do you think he's going to take this out? He's not. And if Mervyn is going to get back in this match, I think this 120 might have to be hit.
He's not going to be hit.
80.
Hits, tops to leave, tops.
Only just gets the single. It is just good enough. That single 20 was very close to the 60.
It is nearly 3 years since Merv beat Simon Whitlock, and in the intervening 3 years there have been some heavy defeats. A 6-0, a 6-1, a 6-2. As things stand, the Wizard
93.
is threatening to do something similar again. Oh, Merv looks like he needs to be physically held up at some point, or somebody to fetch his darts for him out the board, because he really is
119.
feeling the effects of this absolute oven of a venue.
He's using his towel more than Novak Djokovic uses his. He's using it after every shot now. Well, if you're going to keep using the towel, and that's the result, I'd say don't change. That deficit, to me, looks like a chasm right now. But Mervyn has eaten into Simon Whitlock in this leg. How easy does he make it look sometimes?
Well, it seems like a calculated decision from Merv to be a little less deliberate. He really is struggling, isn't he? Normally, Merv is he puts a lot of effort into his visits, but here he just seems to be trying to get into some kind of flow. The arm knows what it's doing, just let it do it, because he's just concentrating on being able to stand up here, I think.
Autopilot.
Yeah,
that's exactly what this is. Now, Simon has an autopilot as well, where he could play a bit faster. He needed it in the final against Wes Newton when he won the European Championship, and it was very effective. This is proving to be quite effective for Merv as well. And when you remove the thinking and the deliberate element of playing darts, these guys can autopilot their way to the titles, believe me.
57.
Well, I think Whitlock is a thinker, and we've seen him twice already this weekend take early leads, and then players have come back at him. He managed to hold off Justin Pipe just about, and Gerwyn Price was looking very, very threatening until the Wizard produced a bit of magic late on. But he's in danger of allowing Merv, who is looking dead and buried for a while here, to get back within a leg.
81.
It's a good enough advantage for Merv in this one. Simon needs another 60 to get to a finish, and he gets one. That advantage has gone. 51. Perfect. If Simon Whitlock can find this, I reckon there'll be nothing that Merv can do to beat him. He's in the hands of the king right now.
139.
The next best prize. But Merv breaks and cuts it to one leg, and he's throwing to level the match.
I really want to know what's going through his mind right now, because he's played very well in the last couple of legs.
Well, he had an incredible spurt against Steve West that helped turn the game around, but he still had to survive 6-match darts to win that. Called it the hardest game he's ever played, beating his best mate, knowing that it would prevent him from reaching the world match play. He was excellent against James Wade, won 6 on the spin to win it 6-2. And against Corey Cadby, it was a struggle for both men, but there was just a little bit more quality from Merv. Two halves of the hall chanting Simon and Whitlock at each other. They're not shy about expressing who they want to win it.
I love coming to new countries and finding new chants. Chanting against each other and almost being on the same team.
A bit different from Ali Pali, isn't it, with the tables and the stands, who seem to have genuine animosity between them.
It's the British class system.
A lot more communal affair here in Prague.
56.
But it is not something that Simon Whitlock is particularly enjoying right now, because he has gone from being completely in charge of this game at 4-1 up to
56.
I mean, barely able to keep pace with Merv. The first 9 average has dropped, what, nearly 10 points, has it?
Well, Mervyn has made a mistake that he wouldn't usually make. He's been punished for it. He's been punished in the worst possible way as well. Mervyn stayed on the 18s, and he shouldn't have. He should have gone back to the 20s. And Whitlock can make him pay. But he needs the 2 snowmen.
That's the problem with autopilot, isn't it? If you're not thinking things through, you can make silly mistakes. Will there be a mistake here from the Wizards? Bullseye he wants.
63. Revenue bar 32.
Sometimes this game has been purgatory. But Merv needs double 8. It's for each. And when you're suffering like Merv is, He's still battling away. You just know it's going to be 11 legs. You just know it.
Well, you wouldn't bet against it right now. We're going to have at least 10.
78.
Beautiful first start.
140.
He's been playing the last 3 legs. I think he should maybe play in this slightly faster style more often.
Well, I mean, Mervyn King. If he were to turn this around and win it, he'd guarantee himself $6.5 grand. But right now, I think all he wants is about 7 litres of water and a tank of oxygen.
You probably want to butcher's fridge and to ask someone to close the door.
59.
It still hangs in the balance here. Mervyn King. Mouth
81.
gaping open, just trying to get some air in this stifling hot atmosphere.
Whitlock is answering the call of the crowd very well indeed.
105.
See the sense in that last dart in the bullseye? I mean,
Just thinking about that.
it does mean that he doesn't need to use the ball when he returns, but that's assuming he goes treble 19. And if you hit that, you get even an awkward double that might cost you a dart at double anyway.
He does like double 11, but
79.
it was a slightly odd choice. And it is going to be double 11. Oh, very kind indeed. Bashed it into the dart, and it answered. I'm not sure that Simon Whitlock has been anywhere in the world and had this kind of support.
Well, this is a guy who goes to Germany, and there are 3 blokes who dress up as him and follow him around at darts tournaments. We have seen hugely pro-Whitlock crowds around, but to be honest, the amount they've had to shout about in the big tournaments, it's not as much as it used to be. The European Championship run last year was incredible, of course, going all the way to the final. But this year, I mean, he started this year with 4 consecutive first-round defeats on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, we started asking questions when he wasn't selected for the Premier League. I think that affected him, but he has got up off the floor and he has answered so many questions in the last 3 months.
90.
The moment he lost his seeding, he knew he had work to do. He lost in 2 qualifiers. Then the next European Tour he went to, where he had an opportunity to bank some cash, he went all the way to the final. And that's why he's back as a seed.
It's on. Oh, he was trying to lead double 11 again.
90. Mervyn 140.
It's probably a percentage of Whitlock who thinks that the job is done.
100. Samuel 52.
The Wizard and the King.
It's time for Whitlock to deliver the stone-cold stunner.
Well, the Wizard is the Lord of the Outer Rings tonight. 6-4 he wins. A 5th consecutive victory over the King. We will have a seeded player in the semis, just the one, and it is the Australian #1.